I'm very well. How about yourself?
I'm good. I'm happy to be here on a, Thursday evening chatting with you.
Yeah, thank you so much for making time for this. This is the second interview that I'm having with amazing coaches like yourself. Um, if you remember, as I shared, my intention behind doing these interviews is to create some content for um, whoever I have in my network and outside my network to help them with a few of the problems that I have identified from shared experience with my clients in terms of self-development, leadership, and decision making. So
Yeah, it
for
sounds
yes,
great.
thank you. And so before I start with my questions, I would like you to introduce yourself for the audience, please.
Perfect. So I'm Amanda Parker. I'm the founder of the Courage Factory and the creator of the Alchemy Transformational Leadership Program. So my work really is in working with business leaders and entrepreneurs and creators, just really to help them step into personal transformation and a sense of leadership where they're deeply connected to themselves. So that's the basis of my work. So I'm also a leadership coach. I do facilitation, and yeah, I love the just working with people, helping them really step into their courage and find that personal transformation that they can show up as their whole selves to their work and life.
That's wonderful. Awesome. Beautiful. Okay. So for today's fireside chat, I wish we had a fire.
Me too. I think we're both cold, no?
I know. Yeah. I would like to talk about goal setting. I know that you already had a great masterclass and that was focused on this topic. And so I'm looking forward to get a little bit more information about what you just discussed with your clients.
All right. So shall I just dive right in?
Let's do it.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think it's really interesting because, especially at the beginning of the year, we hear a lot about goal setting. It becomes like a buzzword of, okay, set your goals. We changed the word basically from New Year's resolutions to like your goals for the year. So it is definitely a word that can be overused and that maybe can be misconstrued. So I'm really happy to share just what my view is on goal setting. And I think the most important thing is I really value setting goals or visions of some kind. So really thinking about what is it that you want in your future. So maybe it's work that you want, maybe there's relationship goals, maybe you want to start your own business, but you're really starting to think a little bit further into the future about what is it that I want to see in my life? And that kind of gives you a space to think about, how am I going to get there? Yeah. So I actually don't really believe that goals are necessarily the end that you're working towards, because they can change. So you might start working towards one goal and 2 months in, you realize that's not the goal I actually want to work towards, and it looks completely different. But it's really about giving yourself almost permission to start actively moving forward towards reaching that goal or seeing that vision become a reality.
Yeah, totally. So I'm curious, how far in the future do you look into when you think that would be a good place to set some intention or goal, and then from there you would probably work backward? Is that what you do?
So to be honest, the way that I approach goal setting is starting first with a bit of reflection. And almost like I did in a course that I did recently with some clients, I did a guided visualization to meet your future self. Nice. So this is actually giving you the opportunity to meet yourself 20 years from now.
Oh, wow.
And to get a feeling of, okay, who is this person? Where do they live? What matters to them? how do they look? How do they dress? What kind of
Mhm.
environment are they living in? Because I think it's so easy to get caught up in like the day to day. If you ask me today what my goals are, I might list out some business goals that I have, some revenue goals.
Yeah.
Maybe I want to travel to 5 countries, but why? Why does any of that actually
Yeah.
matter? So I
Mhm.
believe that like taking this kind of zoomed out view to see where you are way in the future
Mhm.
helps you to get a little bit more perspective on, okay, if that's where I'm going to be, like, what is it that I want to work towards now to start moving myself in the direction of this future life that I see for myself?
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. I love it. I think from what you just shared, what came to my mind is um, like my own personal way to deal with this is I realize that when I look into like 10 years, 20 years from now in my future, all of a sudden everything that is not working now and I feel like it's not gonna let me get where I wanna get, it just all disappears because like by then who knows, like you flip a coin and you don't know what's gonna happen until then. So it becomes a lot more like in terms of like the limitations and everything, you think about your future from a place of abundance instead of thinking that, oh, this is like I want to get there but I can't make it there now because I can't, like my financials are not working, or like my job is not like stable now, and so many other things that you might think that is stopping you from creating those visions. But thinking about like a little bit further, like yeah, everything is possible.
That's such a good point, because I really find a lot when I'm working, especially with one-on-one clients in a coaching
Mm-hmm.
setting, you say, okay, what do you want to achieve either through this coaching relationship or in 1 year or 5 years? And exactly what you said, you're so limited by what you know today that it
Mm-hmm.
can be really hard to even dream about the future you really want. So your
Yeah.
goals are kind of watered down based on
Mm-hmm.
today's reality. And let's say you're in a job that you don't like, you just don't feel good, you feel stuck, you're not really moving towards something. And I say, what's your biggest goal? It might be like, I want to work in a job I love,
Yeah.
which in the moment feels really important. But in
Right.
reality, it's like, yeah, okay. And then what? What comes after that?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, totally. Beautiful. All right. So let's say they have dreamed about next 20 years or like 20 years from now. What next?
Yeah, there seems to be a little bit of a gap in between. I think for me, it's this dreaming. Yeah, starting with 20 years, I find inspiring, and
Mhm.
surprisingly, the visualization works quite well for most people. That can go either
Yeah.
way. But I think the main point with that is just allowing yourself to dream. So dreaming
Mm-hmm.
really bigger and beyond what it is that you know today.
Mm-hmm.
The next step after dreaming is kind of reflecting on what's the real situation.
Mm-hmm.
So it's great to have this big goal. Where am I today?
Right.
Where am I sitting today? What's happening around me? And maybe even like, what got me here? How did I end up
Mm-hmm.
in this place? Then when you start thinking about, okay, now I actually want to take this forward from a place of like, here's my reality today.
Mm-hmm.
I think that the next step is really about how do you make that something tangible.
Okay.
So not just looking at this big lofty goal that feels super unattainable, because
Mm-hmm.
usually we dream big. Hopefully you are dreaming big,
Yeah.
and it can feel really overwhelming to the point that you
Yeah.
won't even get started.
Mm-hmm.
So I often advise clients at that point, like, how do you make the goal something that's really easy for you to understand,
Mm-hmm.
and that you can actually start to think about steps that would help you reach that goal?
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's also important at this stage to remember, the goal might shift
Yeah.
as you start working through the process. you might decide that's not what you actually want, or a new opportunity or inspiration or something else comes in. So
Yeah.
the goal's never set in stone. And you can just keep taking these little incremental steps and see what unfolds.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the goal is almost just a catalyst
Yes.
to get you to
Makes
move
sense.
and get you to act.
Right. Yeah. And stay motivated. I
Yeah.
feel like with 2022, sorry, not the 2022. Well, I'm a little bit ahead of the calendar. With 2020 and the pandemic and so many crazy things that happened, and all the changes that it introduced to our life. If me personally, if I have had a goal that is not, it was not for like next year or the year after, but it is further down in the future, it would not be that impacted. And so I see the benefit in terms of staying motivated and being more flexible with all the circumstances around you, whatever that happens and or doesn't happen with your plan. It doesn't really matter in a big picture because you have set your goal somewhere down in the future and you're going to make it happen.
And I would say I have a long background in project management, and very rarely did any project go according to the plan. You know,
Yep.
we think that we can somehow control all the steps and all the elements. And as you said, 2020, there is no way to plan for what happened then. I think something else that's really, I've learned this a lot. I mean, over the last year, it's become really clear to me how important it is just to have habits in your life. And if you know you have some sort of goal that you know that you're working towards, you don't have to know the exact plan or steps to get there necessarily.
Right.
But if it's, you know, I want to be a motivational speaker. It's not that I say, okay, I enroll in a class and then I do this. It's maybe I just start speaking every day. Every day for 5 minutes, I speak in a way that makes me uncomfortable. Because after a month, you're going to see progress. After 2 months, you're going to see progress. And imagine where you're going to be a year from now if you have a habit that really helps you grow towards what you want to achieve later.
Yeah, in a way, if I could summarize it, it would be like, instead of being too much focused on the outcome, bring back your focus on the process and how you want to get there, and enjoy the journey, because you never know like what is waiting for you at the end of the finish line, right? Yeah,
absolutely.
Exactly. So I am curious, you mentioned something about like the dreaming about future and like dreaming big. I am wondering how many of the people that you have worked with were able to dream big, because that's what I realized that it is one of the challenges. Like, people think very tiny little possibilities in the future, but the reality could be very different. So I'm curious, what have you seen as a challenge for people who cannot see great possibilities in the future, and how do you help them?
Yeah, I think it's a really good point, and it's really fair. You know, I think we're so often going through life as we know it, with the experiences that we have, with the things that we've seen the people around us do, and it can be difficult to see beyond that. I mean, I guess that's why you and I are both in the profession of coaching, because we know how many possibilities you can open really through a powerful question of like, look at this differently, or what's another perspective. So I think I don't know, I have a lot of clients who, when they come in, it really is always this sort of smaller vision. They don't think it's small. That's what they really want. And somewhere that is what they really want, but it's almost like a stepping stone on the way to what it is they really want. So for me, I'm always trying to uncover, why does that matter to you? Like, why is that goal important? Because on the surface, it might seem, I really want a promotion, but why? Do you want more prestige? Do you want more money? Do you want your family to accept you? Do you want your kids to be proud of you? There's always another motivation there that I think can help you start to see what it is that you're working towards and why from a different perspective. And it might not be what's on the surface. And it doesn't even have to be some huge goal that's like scary. It could just be, I want to feel fulfilled in my work and life. And I believe that this goal is going to help me get there.
Yes.
And from there, you can have a real conversation about, okay, so the real goal is reaching this fulfillment, or it might be something that's not obvious on the surface. But I'm curious also how you handle that with clients as well, because I think, it's a really big challenge.
I think very similar to what you just shared. What I've realized when I ask people, can you dream about your future? Let's dream together about your future. Like almost instantly what they respond back is a dream from their past. Like it is based off what they have gone through, what they think is like kind of a box that is created around them, and they're doomed to stay in. And they almost see it impossible to break out and come out and actually create something from just for the sake of creation, like really dreaming. Like I think like when I ask them and I realize that they're actually thinking with all the limitations and the limiting belief that they have, I really try to encourage them that like to see what is possible beyond those limitations and beyond those limiting beliefs. And I know that we all have those beliefs. Like I have it, I'm sure you have it. Like it's just like always this monkey chatter, like constantly saying that you can't do this. There's nothing for you. Like that is good, but you're not good enough for that dream. I would like them to be with that, and I would like them to allow that voice to keep chatting and keep like yelling and doing whatever, but they should have the freedom to still just think about it and dream really, like as you said, big, like something that they really even think that it is impossible. But I want them to at least just envision what would it feel like if that was possible. And then what I realized is like the instant shift in their energy and their thinking about oh, this is great, I would love to just daydream about this. And I'm like, yeah. And like from that excitement there comes a lot of motivation, and kind of like they answer their own questions in terms of, okay, what is the next step? I'm like, okay, what do you think is the next step? Like you've got it all, you actually know how to get there. Just keep dreaming and let it be. So
I think also I'll just give a little shout out to a teacher who you and I have both had the opportunity to learn from. So Robert Ellis of Futurosity. And he shares this belief that usually the client comes in with this goal that they have, and he calls that goal B. So you're currently standing at A, you're working towards B. And actually, as the coach, it's our role to help our clients see what Robert calls B prime, which is something better than you ever could have imagined when you started out. And I love this idea that the goal can feel big, it can feel important, but the truth is that as you start making progress and working towards that goal, only then are you going to realize, oh, whoa, hold on. There's a whole world out here of, this dream or this vision that I didn't even allow myself to see before.
Yeah.
I think that's also a powerful visual that I always hold.
Absolutely.
When thinking about the goals and how hard that can be.
Yeah, totally. And I remember you mentioned, or did I read it about your masterclass, that you use meditation for that visualization. I've also found it very helpful. So if you can, do you have any particular meditation that you use for that?
It's really, again and again, even in Alchemy, which is the leadership program I created, we begin with meditation, because only when you can really turn off all of the noise, all of the distractions, all of you know, the people around you or the expectations that are telling you what you should want or you should be, or all of these voices that we're constantly bombarded with, if you go into this state of really peaceful relaxation, you can actually connect deeply to yourself and listen to the voice inside.
Yes.
And that's where our essence is. That's where the voice is that we really want to listen to. So when because people have a lot of different experience levels with meditation. So with my clients, I usually do a guided meditation because that's why we're there, and it helps and helps to walk them through. But also sometimes just doing a simple boxed breathing exercise can help just bring you back to center. So the simplest way to describe boxed breathing is you're, you know, bringing your breath in through your nose for about 5 seconds or a count to 5, holding for 5, and then releasing for 5. And you just do that kind of repetition of that breathing maybe 5-6 times, and you can just bring yourself to a centered place to be able to think without the distraction and without the noise.
Right. Lovely. That's beautiful. All righty. I'm just looking into my list of questions and see if there's something that we did not cover, which I think, we covered a lot. And I think you've already answered this, but just kind of maybe as a also ramp up or kind of a summary of what we just discussed. Is there any golden rule for goal setting?
So, golden rule. Yes, there is one rule, and no.
Smart.
I know. So I think it's important to allow yourself the opportunity to think bigger than you're really comfortable with. So whenever you're reaching for something new, it takes courage to say, first of all, just to say, I want that. Like that's super scary to speak that out loud. And then to actually say it and then act on it really takes courage. So if you set a goal, and I mean, this has happened to me so many times. This has happened to clients. I set a goal. It's so big. I become terrified. I don't even know where to begin. So I never begin. Right. And I think it's just allow yourself to know that's going to be a bit scary, a bit uncomfortable. Step into it anyway. You will not have a roadmap. There's no roadmap. I promise you, no expert has the roadmap. I have looked. And allow yourself to just step into that uncertainty and discomfort, because no matter what, you will find something greater than what you have today, than what you thought was possible today. And it might not look like that end goal. It might not look like what you set out to achieve or to find, but you will discover something new. You're going on a journey. And I think just embracing that discomfort is the best thing that I can say. And just get started. Because no matter what, one tiny step every day, especially, I really believe in ritual and habit, but just one tiny step already makes you believe it a little bit more.
Absolutely. Yes, 100%. I agree. And I think, like, as a kind of a bonus point, what comes to my mind, I think, like sharing that big dream with others, I found it very powerful. Like, in a way, you're actually like owning that dream, because you're brave enough to not only dream about it, you're brave to share it with others. And like that already by itself open up the door to lots more possibilities, because again, like you can't even imagine who is going to show up in your life, who is going to possibly be your ally, or like somehow, some way help you to reach that goal.
It's such a good point about the power of you're not in it alone. And as you said, you don't know who might be an ally. You don't know who might be like, I'm going to help you on this journey, or who's even inspired by your journey. So lean on the people around you. Like, you're not
Mhm.
alone. None of us, literally none of us can do this on our own. So
Right.
by sharing and opening up to the people around you, or people maybe you don't even know, you open doors, and you also get support when you need it, because we
Absolutely.
all need that support.
Yes, for sure. All righty, beautiful.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that you would like to share?
I'm really happy to have shared this space with you, and yeah, no, I'm really excited to see what kind of feedback comes back from the community and what other people feel and believe about the goal setting that they've done. So I'm
Wonderful.
looking forward to see what comes next from this.
Beautiful. Thank you. Thanks for all the great tips and points and sharing your amazing wisdom and knowledge. I really appreciate it. I learned so much already from this conversation. So I really appreciate that. As a kind of an end note, if anyone in the audience in my network or yours, I'm sure like yours know how where to find you. But if any new people would like to reach out to you, they can find you on LinkedIn. I'll attach a link to your website and anywhere
That's
else.
perfect. Yes.
All right.
I'd love that. Definitely.
Beautiful. Sounds good. All righty.
Great.
Amanda, thank you so much for your time, for your great energy and your beautiful smile and awesome points.
Thank you. I really appreciate the opportunity just to speak with you, and it's a topic I'm passionate about, and I can see you are as well. So
Yes.
I really enjoyed the ability to speak about this together.
Thank you so much. Right on. All righty.
See
It
you
was good
soon.
speaking with you. Yes, see you soon.